Welcome back to Bionic Life. My name is Kevin, and today I want to just tell you a little bit about this contraption I have set up here. This is the beam and the cylinder and wedge that I had on the front of the Kubota and the John Deere, and I was using it to break down big rounds. Now this round here is about 26 and a half inches. As an amputee, even if you're a below the knee amputee, you have a greater likelihood of suffering an injury. Your alignment, your spine alignment's different, your gait's different, the way you walk. When you carry things, it's a little different, so it's real easy to hurt your back. If you're a higher level amputee, aka above the knee or hip dysartic, you also lose the ability to squat and bend at the knees and lift correctly. So moving these rounds can be a hazard for somebody like me. When I was young, I would take these rounds, set them flat on the ground, roll it up onto that and then into the back of a truck, and I would split it off the back of the truck, and then it was no big deal. But as you get older, you don't do that as much. At least I don't. So we're going to show a little bit how this works and see if it might be right for you. As I was putting the video together, and after I had already recorded the intro, I realized that I had the initial split with this machine and the modification on the beam. The welds literally were still hot when I went over to the pile and started messing around with this first piece that I'm splitting here. My son offered to take the phone and video this, so we actually captured it. It's kind of cool. I know it looks a little janky and my movements aren't smooth. I wasn't used to it. And I wasn't exactly sure how much force I could put against that thing to move these logs around, because there's a lot of leverage on it. I don't know if you can tell. If you're using the foot or the base plate where the wedge is pushing the log against, that's a pretty big lever there. I was worried that something might snap, and I'm also very cognizant of how exposed these fittings are, and I kind of learned that with the tractor side, and that's why they're facing me, so I can definitely tell if I'm getting close to them. And also the workflow is affected by these. I can pull from the pile on the right side of the pile with the pile to the left of the splitter, and then I started swinging them over, creating a new pile. I would split on the right side as I was sitting in the machine to the right side of the pile and kind of working the pile back to the left. I'd push the splits back over into the freshly split blocks. I know I'm splitting this piece up a little small. My intention is not to do that. The intention is to break these pieces down into more manageable pieces that we can use on a push-through design that we have. It's working really good. Let's get on with the video. Yep, the grade 5 bolts that I had holding that together broke. So we set it over on the bench. The machine was making a hideous beeping noise, as it does sometimes after I start it and it gets a little warm. But yeah, we'll get it fixed. We may end up throwing a couple more holes in here. I'm not sure, but this, I literally almost tore the edge out on that. We may throw another bolt in here and here, possibly. We're gonna bolt it back up, see what happens. Worst comes to worst, I have to make a new plate. It's not the end of the world. We'll go grab some more grade 8 bolts. And of course, once we got the bolts put in, we had to go out and test it. I'm not sure what the lighting's like, but I just discovered why this leak is getting worse. This hose, as I'm positioning the splitter beam using the dump and curl function of the bucket, it's actually loosening that fitting where it screws into the plumbing of the machine. So I'm gonna have to put a jam nut on that. I can see that. Interesting. Who would have thought? There's a few things I have to address. Primarily, there are the leaks. This hose leaks quite a bit up at this connection. I'm gonna have to see what I need to do about that. I may put some pipe dope on it that's specially made for hydraulics. Maybe I'll just try some Teflon tape. I'll probably put some quick connects on the thumb cylinder. And the purpose behind that is so that if I go to a location that has bigger logs, I want to be able to use the excavator with the thumb and the bucket to move logs. So by putting the quick connects on the cylinder, I'll be able to move these hoses to the thumb for just an interim use, just for that reason. When I'm digging and when I'm utilizing this as a bucket in a thumb machine, most of the time, I'll actually swap it back out to the original hoses because these are just way too long and they'll get in the way and they'll get caught, snagged on something. The other thing is I need to finish welding these ears. I gave them one solid hot pass and one little cap weld, but it's not enough. I need to take the thing apart, but I was anxious to try it out and see if it was gonna work before I spent a ton of time welding. So we'll get those things taken care of. We'll tighten up the leaks. We'll get this thing in action, and I think we're gonna have quite a few larger rounds to bust open. Thanks for watching.